Go ahead, try to tickle yourself. Your ribs, the sole of your foot. You can feel your fingers, but that peculiar squirming sensation just isn't there. Why? Because your brain already knows what's coming. It's living about half a second in the future, predicting your every move. It uses that prediction to filter out the obvious. Most people assume ticklishness is just about sensitive skin, but that's not quite right. The real answer is far stranger. It changes everything we think we know about perception, conscious experience, and what it means to be truly present. Let's start with your brain's secret prediction machine. Your brain is not just reacting to the world, it's constantly anticipating it. Think of it as a master predictor, always running simulations of your own movements. When you decide to move, your brain sends a command to your muscles and creates an internal duplicate, an efference copy. It's like sending a carbon copy of your instructions to a separate internal system, even before your body starts to move. This efference copy then goes to the cerebellum. Often called the little brain at the back of your skull, the cerebellum is a highly sophisticated prediction engine. It uses that efference copy to build a forward model. This forward model is a real-time, accurate prediction of all the sensory consequences your movement will generate. It anticipates exactly when and where the touch will occur, and precisely what it should feel like. The genius of this system is that it then filters your incoming sensory information. The cerebellum sends signals to suppress the somatosensory response in your brain, specifically for self-generated sensations. This is sensory attenuation. Your brain actively turns down the volume on sensations it expects from your own actions. This dampening allows your brain to distinguish between touches you caused yourself and touches from the outside world. It helps your conscious mind ignore the mundane and focus on the surprising, the unexpected. Every brush of clothes, every blink would otherwise demand full attention. Because of this internal prediction, your brain simply cancels out the self-tickle. So if your brain cancels out self-touch, how can we prove it? The answer lies in breaking that perfect prediction. Neuroscientist Sarah-Jayne Blakemore and her colleagues devised an ingenious setup in the early 2000s. They had volunteers use a small robotic device to self-administer a touch to their own palm. Participants controlled timing and intensity, but researchers introduced a precise time delay between their movement and the robot's touch. Imagine pressing a button, expecting an immediate touch. But the robot waits a fraction of a second. Blakemore's team discovered something remarkable. When the touch was immediate, participants reported little to no ticklishness, as expected. But when a tiny time lag was introduced, the sensation became more ticklish. A delay of just 100 milliseconds, 1/10 of a second, was often enough to subtly disrupt the brain's prediction. By 200 to 300 milliseconds, self-generated touch felt significantly more ticklish. This small but crucial time lag was enough to scupper the brain's ability to accurately predict the sensory consequences of the movement. The efference copy had predicted an immediate touch. The forward model had calculated zero delay, but the actual sensory feedback arrived late. This discrepancy between what the brain predicted and what it actually received created a prediction error. Blakemore's research showed that the amount of ticklishness increased proportionally to this error. It wasn't the skin that changed, it was the element of surprise, engineered by a simple robotic delay. This sophisticated system of sensory attenuation is a fundamental part of how your brain constructs reality, not just about avoiding self-tickle. Think about your own voice. When you speak, you hear it directly through your ears and through bone conduction, resonating through your own skull. Yet, if you record your voice and play it back, it often sounds strangely different to you. Why? Because your brain attenuates the internal sound of your own voice, focusing on the meaning of what you're saying rather than raw auditory input. It filters out familiar self-generated aspects. Or consider touching your own arm versus someone else touching it. The sensation of your own hand on your arm feels less intense, less novel, than if another person performed the exact same touch. This reduced sensation during self-touch compared to touch from others is sensory attenuation in action. Your brain has predicted and dampened your own touch. Functionally, this system is incredibly efficient. It helps your brain quickly distinguish between self-generated sensations, less behaviorally relevant, and externally generated ones, which might signal a threat or opportunity requiring immediate attention. It allows you to navigate the world without being overwhelmed by constant internal feedback. But what happens when this predictive filtering system goes awry? Intriguingly, individuals with certain neurological conditions provide insight. Patients with schizophrenia, for instance, sometimes struggle with agency attribution. They have difficulty distinguishing between self-generated and externally generated sensations or thoughts. This breakdown in the brain's predictive mechanism means they can often tickle themselves. Their efference copy system isn't effectively generating the forward model or sending suppressive signals, leaving them open to the surprise of their own touch. It's a tragic demonstration of how critical this internal self-cancellation is for coherent reality. So, what does all this tell us about the strange sensation of ticklishness? The popular understanding has long been that certain body areas like armpits or foot soles are simply more sensitive, that it's purely about nerve endings in the skin. But our journey into the brain's prediction engine reveals a deeper truth. Ticklishness is not solely about skin sensation. The tickle arises not from the touch itself, but from the discrepancy between your brain's predicted sensory feedback and the actual sensory input it receives. It's a prediction error. When the actual sensation doesn't perfectly match the forward model's expectation, perhaps due to unexpected intensity, an unpredictable movement from another person, or a robot's tiny time delay, your brain registers that error as unexpected, salient information. That unexpected signal is what registers as a tickle. It's your brain saying, "I didn't quite see that coming." This principle extends far beyond tickling. Many neuroscientists believe perception itself is largely a process of prediction, error, minimization. According to theories like the free energy principle, your brain is a relentless prediction machine, constantly generating top-down predictions about the world and comparing them against incoming sensory data. Its primary goal is to minimize surprise, to make its predictions as accurate as possible. When a prediction fails, the error signals update your internal models of the world. So you don't actually experience the world directly. You experience your brain's best guess of it, continually updated by its own prediction errors. The tickle, then, is a fleeting, playful moment when your brain's predictions about itself fall hilariously short. So when you reach out to tickle yourself and nothing happens, remember what's truly going on. Your brain isn't just receiving sensory information, it's actively constructing your reality, moment by moment. It's constantly adjusting, predicting, and filtering, ensuring that you only pay attention to what truly matters, the unexpected. You live in a world that is always, for a fraction of a second, your brain's best guess. It takes the raw, chaotic input from your senses and seamlessly stitches it into a coherent, convincing present, compensating for the inherent processing delays of your nervous system. This elaborate, unseen dance of prediction and error correction allows you to navigate your world without being overwhelmed by every internal sensation. You can't tickle yourself for the same reason the present feels solid. Your brain got there first. It is always waiting half a second ahead, catching your own hand before you can ever be surprised by it.